like major thinking at the wrong time of the year. I'm just saying. It's May, last 6 weeks of school, and you're doing, it's a lot of thinking. 12.2. We're solving quadratic equations by taking roots. Now roots, like square root and stuff like that. Okay? Now I'm about to write some very important notes that you will need to refer back to when doing your homework. Okay? So make them nice and neat, and when doing your homework, make sure you have your spiral there. If you don't finish today, make sure you take home your spiral. 2 stars. Square root property. I feel a sneeze coming. Hold on. Okay, that's gone. Okay, this part right here is what you need to refer back to. Is it in your book? Yes, but not exactly how I have it written. If n is greater than 0, then x has 2 real solutions. N, we're going to just call it the answer. And you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Then X has 2, you need to underline 2, real solutions, written as the plus and the minus. And I'm going to explain what all this means when we start doing the examples. If n equals 0, then 1 real solution. So remember, n is the answer. I have it in quotes. So if n is greater than 0, there's going to be 2 answers, positive and negative. If n equals 0, then there's only going to be 1 answer. And then 3. If n is less than 0, that means there's a negative answer. Then no real solution. I'll let you catch up. So if the answer is negative, then there's no real solution. And I'm going to let y'all catch up. Make sure your notes for this are very nice and neat. Hold on a second. Okay. Okay, so when we're solving equations, quadratic equations that will look like this, kind of like what we did yesterday. All right, but this form, basically we're going to isolate the squared expression first. Isolate the variable. Step 2. Apply the square root property. Basically, square root everything. I'm putting a star by that. And then 3, simplify the radical and solve each equation.
So we can have a test on stuff, or is it just gonna be on the exam?
It's going to be, you're going to have a quiz on this, but it's going to be on the exam. All right, so now I want you to open up your book to page 491. Is everyone done copying this down? All right.
That's super hard. I think we might die.
Okay. Number 1. X squared equals 25. Okay, y'all have done this before in the last chapter. It says using the square root property. Okay, so step 1, if you read, isolate the squared expression. Basically, you're isolating the variable. That is already done for us. The x, which is a variable, is isolated. Yes? It's all by itself. Do y'all see that? Step 2, apply the square root property. Square everything. Whoops. I'm going to rewrite this so that your notes are a little bit better. So now we square everything. Square root it. You know what I'm saying. Square root everything. Yeah, you're right. Squaring and square root is different. Now, y'all know from chapter 11, what does this become?
X.
No, just x.
Oh yeah, my bad.
And then the square root of 25 is 5. Now, this is not your answer. Go back up here. If the answer is greater than 0, then there's 2 answers, positive and negative. Is this answer greater than 0?
Yes.
So therefore, I'm going to say greater than 0. Therefore, your answer is x equals plus minus 5. That's what you're doing today. Now, the top makes more sense. So you work these problems out. Isolate the variable. This is already done for you. Square root everything. Get an answer. Just like you would from chapter 11. Then, if this is greater than 0, then the answer is positive negative 5. If this was equal to 0, then you'll have one answer, and I'll show you that. If it's less than 0, then there's no solution. Yes?
On our exam, are we going to have to, like, for chapter 11, if it's specifically like chapter 11, are we going to do it, do we have to do like this too?
Well, technically, even from chapter 11, this was the answer.
What's the answer?
Yeah.
You were studying answer.
Yeah. This is the answer. Y'all were doing this. All right, let's do another. Three. X squared equals 6. Okay, step 1, make sure that the variable's isolated, which it is. We don't have to do an intruder alert. So step 2 is to square root everything. Right? Step 3 was to simplify the radical if it's not a perfect square and solve. Now, this becomes x. Can we simplify the 6?
No.
No, because that's just 2 times 3. There's no pairs or anything, right? And that's not a perfect square, so we are leaving it like that. Now, the question is this greater than 0? Yes, it is. Because really, like, the square root of 4 is 2 times 2. Square root of 3, the square root of 9 is 3 times 3. So that's if you were to work this out on the calculator, it would still be greater than 0. Therefore, your answer is plus minus square root of 6. Does that make sense? All right, let's do another. Any questions so far? Okay, 5. X squared minus 100 equals 0. All right, Michaela, what is my first step?
You're gonna what's like make sure it's separate.
Okay.
It says
What do we need to do?
Isolate the squared expression.
So what do we need to do?
I guess move the 100 to the right.
Yep, you're right.
So plus 100.
Plus 100 on both sides. You will show all of your work. And so you're left with x squared equals 100. Now what do I do, Michaela?
You're gonna square root both of them.
That's right. We're going to square root both of them.
X equals 100 is not perfect, right?
Maybe. Is there anything times itself gives you 100?
10 times 10.
That's right. So, is 10 greater than 0?
Yeah.
So what's my answer?
X equals positive or negative 10.
Yep. Because it's greater. Any questions yet? Huh? You can't wait? Okay. I'm not reteaching. Okay. Number 9. Emily. X squared plus 5 equals 0. All right, so we're going to subtract 5 on both sides. Make sure you're writing it just like I am, since yesterday y'all forgot how to do this. All right, Emily, what do I do now? Put it under the thing. You mean square root both things?
Yes. Then you have x equals the square root of 5.
Now, question. Can I have a square root of a negative when the root is even? And by the way, this would be, that's an even root. So, and that's a negative. It's also less than 0. It's negative. So there's all kinds of things going on here. So the answer is no real solution. Very good. So anytime it's negative, if the answer right here, x equals, and it's negative, it's no real solution. Any questions?
What was the first thing you said? That the x is even?
No, right here. The root is even, and the radicand is negative.
I thought you said something else about it being negative and the x is even.
Mm-mm.
No?
Cecilia, do you have all this? Mm-hmm. All right. Do you have all this, Emily? All right. Number 11. Cicely. 3x squared equals 51. What do I need to do?
Put them both under the house.
Put them both under the house. I don't understand that.
Root. So
No, we haven't done step 1 yet. What is step 1?
Isolate the square expression.
What does that mean?
Take away the 3.
There you go. We're basically isolating the variable. So you're right, we need to take away 3. How do I do that?
Divided.
Divide both sides by
3.
3. That's right. So I have x squared equals, what's 51 divided by 3? I'll let you sit there and do it. 17. Now what do I do? No. No, you're going to use correct terminology. What are we doing?
Square.
That's right. We're going to square root both sides. What do you get?
X equals 17.
No. That's not a perfect square. So what do we get? Just 17? Nope. Square root of 17, because this can't be simplified. Basically, it's prime, correct? Okay, so Cecilia, is the answer above 0, greater than 0, equal to 0, or less than 0? It's greater than 0. So, what is my answer?
X equals plus minus
Square root of 17. Good job. Any questions? All right, Michael, 13. 3x squared equals 81. What do I need to do?
Get the 3 on the opposite side.
How do I do that?
So you want to divide them on both sides.
Good job. We're going to divide 3 on both sides because we're trying to isolate the variable. So I'm left with x squared equals 27. Now what do I do?
You have to square root it.
Square root what?
Both sides.
Both sides. That's the next step. So then,
It's x is equal to the
the square
square root of 27.
root of 27. Is this simplified?
No.
So what do we need to do?
Simplify.
Factor tree.
3 on the outside. Oh wait.
3 times,
3 times
and then 3. So I have 3 times 3 times 3.
Hi, Ms. Rogers.
Hello.
A teacher appreciation for all the work that you and my mom have been doing.
Are you serious?
Yes. Sorry, that's a little bit. My bad.
You are the sweetest thing. Thank you so much.
Of course.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you and all that you're doing. Thank you, Brianna.
Is that a route 44 from
That's huge, man. All right. All right, so what is the answer?
The answer is 3 times 3 squared.
No, square root of 3. Now, is this greater than 0?
Yes.
So then what should be here?
Positive.
There you go. Y'all better have all of this written down because look here. When he square rooted both sides, this became x, but this needed to be simplified. The one that Cecilia did was prime. This can't be simplified anymore. This one can. If it's greater than 0, you've got to put the plus and minus. Any questions?
Is that Miss Dr.
Dr. Gapstotter.
So,
Everyone have this?
are you gonna drink that? 'Cause you're tired?
Okay, 15.
Alright.
Gabby. 4x squared equals 50. And you get x squared equals, well, can 4 go into 50 evenly? Okay, so look here. We're going to do this. Can we simplify this? What does it become? 25 over 2, because we have to simplify. Because 50 cannot be divided by 4, so then she simplified it. So now we have x squared equals 25 over 2. All right, now what do I do? We're going to square root both sides. Here we go back to this. So, let's look at this. If we're going to square root this whole thing, we've got to break it down to the square root of 25 over the square root of 2, because 25 cannot be divided by 2. Y'all better be really paying attention to this. All right, so Gabby, five over the square root of 2. Now what do I do? We have to multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 2, because we can't have a square root on the bottom, right? So then what do you get? The square root of 4. Because 5 times square root of 2 is 5 times square root of 2. Square root of 2 times square root of 2 is square root of 4. And square root of 4 is, so I have 5 times square root of 2 over 2. All right, is this right here greater than 0? Yep. So therefore your answer is x equals positive and negative 5 times square root of 2 over 2. And there's your answer. Sit back and look at it.
So we had to multiply because the bottom can't have a square root.
That's all right. Any questions on that? That's only 15, so you know they're going to be crazy. All right, 17. Taylor. 4x squared minus 16 equals 3x squared plus 9.
First things first. So, we take the 3x, we subtract both sides by 3x squared.
Okay, so he's needing to put the variable on one side, which is typically your left side. So he's moving the 3x squared that's on this side of the equal sign over by doing the opposite. And so what do you get?
X squared minus 16 equals 9.
Very good. Oh, now that looks a little bit better.
So now you subtract both sides by 16.
Okay, since we're subtracting, we add both sides. 16.
That becomes x squared equals 25.
Good. Now he has successfully, by doing intruder alert that you've been doing for 2 years, he has successfully isolated the variable. Now what do we do?
Now you put them both under square roots.
And what do you get?
X equals 5. But no, plus minus 5.
Y plus and minus 5.
Because it's greater than 0.
It's greater than 0. That one's not as bad as Gabby's.
Question.
Yes.
Whenever it is 0, is the reason it's only one answer because 0 can't be negative.
Wait, do what? If it's only...
If it equals to 0, the reason there's only one answer is because 0 can't be negative.
Right, exactly. Okay. Y'all ready for another? Everyone have this?
Awesome.
21. With x plus 2 squared equals 12. There's the, what do I need to do to get rid of that?
Will you multiply them like that? X plus 2
What have we been doing to get rid of squares?
squaring it.
Square what?
Square itself.
Square root?
Yes, ma'am.
So am I squaring just this or everything?
Everything?
Are you asking me? Yes. To get, this is chapter 11. Hint, hint. To get rid of this, we square both sides, right? So then we're left with x plus 2 equals what?
We're going to have to simplify it.
Okay.
Which would be...
I wouldn't put that there. What two numbers give me 12?
6 times 2.
And then 2 times 3. So I have 2 times 2 times 3. So what do I have over here?
The 2 would go on the outside, and then the 3 would go on the inside of the right.
Okay. Now what do I need to do? We need to isolate the variable, right? How do I do that?
You would subtract 2.
All right, we're going to subtract 2 on both sides to get rid of it, but can I do 2 and 2 times square root of 3? Can we add and subtract those two?
No, ma'am.
No, because remember you have to have the same radicand. So it's x equals negative 2. Now, because of the way this was done, we do need to say, because remember, of what we're doing here, we're isolating the variable. This would be plus or minus 2 times square root of 3.
Why plus or minus?
Because of right here. So you want to go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and put that back in there. Because right here, look right here. When we square rooted this, look what it became. When we square rooted this, look what it became. When we square rooted this, look what it became. When we square rooted this, look what it became. So we square rooted this. Look what it became. So I made a mistake of crossing that out. Should have left it. When we square rooted this, plus minus this. And there's your answer. Let's do another. And Whit, I'm going to let you do this one as soon as they're done writing. This one will be a little bit easier. X plus 3 squared equals 121. So write that down. And then tell me what to do.
You're gonna square the x plus 3
Square root
or square root.
everything, right?
Yes,
Okay. So we're left with what?
x plus 3.
Now, we square rooted this. So then this becomes
Plus minus.
plus minus. And is that a perfect square?
Yes, it is.
So what does it become?
11.
Now, what do I do?
You have to subtract 3.
Now, watch this. Watch this. This is a regular number, nothing like this. The negative 2 cannot be combined with this because of the radical. But the negative 3 can be combined with 11. We can do negative 3 plus 11 and negative 3 minus 11. Because it's positive 11 and negative 11. So negative 3 plus 11 gives me what, Whit?
8.
And then negative 3 minus 11 gives me
Negative 14.
So then my answer is x equals 8 and negative 14. And you don't need to worry about 2 answers or 1 answer or whatever. I'm going to do one more. 27. Aiden hadn't had a turn. 4x plus 1 squared equals 9. Now, y'all pay close attention, okay?
Yeah, you would have square root it, both sides.
All right, so I'm rewriting my problem. And yes, we are square rooting everything. So then what does this become?
2x plus 1.
Nah, it's already squared, so it just becomes 4x plus 1.
That equals 3.
We're square rooting, so this becomes,
Oh, positive or negative 3.
there you go. So does everyone understand where he got this? Okay, now what do I do?
You subtract the 3 by the 1.
Okay. Now,
Would be
look right here. We have the 4x. So look what I'm doing. 4x equals, we can say negative 1 plus 3, and then 4x equals negative 1 minus 3. So then, Aiden, what is this equation? 4x equals 2. I'm going to write it right here. 4x equals 2. And then what does this equation give me?
4x equals negative
4x equals negative 4. Okay, now I've got two equations. What do I do to this one?
Divide by 4.
Divide both sides by 4. And you get what?
X equals 1 half.
X equals a half. I'll write right here. And then what do I do to this one?
Divide by 4.
You divide both sides by 4. And you get x equals
Negative
-1. So then your answer is a half and -1. Any questions? Any questions? All right. I'm going to set you free. Does everyone have this written down? Cecilia, you still writing? Okay. So I'll write it down here real small. Page 491. Two through 20 even. That's 10 problems. Honors 10 through 28 even. 10 problems. Due Thursday. So 10 problems.